Well, I suppose you know you're getting old when people start sending you messages asking you, hey, are you afraid to die? So I got this message from Tony Steffen. He's one of my domination year coaching clients. I've been working with him for 5 years. He's 35 years old. And Tony sent me a message this morning and he said, hey, I just turned 35 last week, which I did wish him a belated happy birthday. And I said, Tony, what's your question? He said, well, I turned 35 and I'm curious. I'm feeling a great sense of urgency. Did you ever feel like death is upon you and that you're running out of time? And what do you do if you run out of time and you don't really accomplish all the things that you wanted to accomplish in life? And so I realized that that's probably a topic that not a lot of people cover. I know I certainly haven't covered. And so I wanted to share it here with you guys. And so, look, death is inevitable. Duh. We all know that, right? Some people say that the two things in life you can't avoid are death and taxes. I think that might be right. We certainly can't avoid either. And so since we know that death is always knocking on our door, here's what I told Tony. I said, look, on the other side of 40 years old, now he's 35, but on the other side of 40 years old for me, I started to really think about what happens. What happens if I were to die early? Am I afraid? Am I worried? What is going on? And there was a great sense of urgency. And what I realized in that moment was that for me specifically, I wanted to die with peace in my heart and not regret, right? And I know this because, in my 40s, I had a very impactful mentor in my life pass away. And one thing he shared with me as he continued to get older was that he was going to die with peace and not regret in his heart. He was a very hard-charging entrepreneur, had a beautiful family, 3 beautiful daughters. Each of them had many kids. He was a grandfather. He was an entrepreneur. He was a leader in the automotive space. And he was just a great dude. But this guy was very certain that he would die with peace in his heart and not regret. And I was a recipient of that beautiful message because I got to learn early on that as long as we do the things that are going to help us build ourselves bigger and heal ourselves from the traumas and build our confidence and elevate to the 2.0 version of ourselves, essentially, there's really no reason to fear death. And if you're a faith-based person, if you are someone that follows faith and religion, then you are destined for a great, beautiful heaven of an outcome anyway, aren't you? And so that aside, we could still die with regret, but end up in heaven, I imagine, right? And those regrets might be that, hey, I didn't reach my fullest potential. I didn't do the things that I wanted to accomplish on this planet. I knew I had more in the tank and I just didn't put that effort out there. And so that's what I told Tony. I said, look, let's look at it this way. We are all born with, let's say, 16 ounces, because we need a unit of measure. We're all born with 16 ounces of potentiality within us, right? So if God was to give us this cup that's 16 ounces and it's filled to the top, and he says, right now, you need to pour that cup out and empty it as much as you can into the world, because that is your potentiality. The potential that is in the cup needs to be poured into the world, and you need to do and accomplish things and achieve things and help people and support people and serve people. And if you can do that and make money and give people the great experiences and take care of the families and the people that you love, then you have reached your fullest potential. If you've healed, if you've gotten leaner, you've gotten more jacked, you've gotten stronger, you've overcome your shit, right? Well, that's what that potentiality is. And so I said, we're all going to die. And he said something very powerful, because we're exchanging text messages this morning. He said, yeah, but you said that we're all going to die with so much more potential in the cup. We're going to have more potential within us than years available. I said, yeah, but the difference is some people die with, if they were given 16 ounces of potential in their life, they're going to die with 15 ounces of potential left in that cup. I want to die with maybe like 1 or 2 ounces of potential left. I mean, my goal is to empty that cup out into the world, into myself, into serving and developing and becoming the best version of myself, overcoming the traumas and the abuse and becoming the higher self and connecting with Source, God, the higher power. However, if I was to be taken off this planet right now at 51 years old, well, I can tell you with 1,000% certainty, I will die with peace in my heart. Why? Because I've poured into my family. I've poured into Andrew and Chloe. I've helped them develop and grow and set their core values. I've led by example. I certainly have not been a great example early on in my life as a young man in my teens and 20s, but I realized very quickly that I could either be a shitbag or I can continue on to heal and develop and let go of the things that I was holding on to as a chip on my shoulder because I felt like the world owed me something, right? The world owed me nothing in reality, absolutely nothing. And it was all on me. And so I committed to getting mentors. I committed to working with therapists. I committed to reading the books. I committed to doing the work and healing and evolving and transforming and become a good entrepreneur and building businesses where I can donate money to Shriners Children's Hospital like we've been doing for the last 13 years now, right? Millions of dollars donated to Shriners Children's Hospital, 97 kids adopted through Compassion International. Those kid-based charities speak to me. Why? Well, because I was abused as a kid. I was sexually abused as a kid. And that was not something that I wanted to talk about. But after working with a therapist, I realized that that's not something that I necessarily deserved, right? But when you're growing up, you're like, why did I do this? Did I deserve that? Why did that happen to me? Is this something that I did to attract those older boys to do those bad things to me? No, they were bad boys. They did bad things, and I fell for it because I was a young man looking up to older boys in the community. But it takes a therapist to help you realize that, to help you heal through that. And if you don't heal through it, then what ends up happening is you end up carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, and you end up limiting your beliefs. You end up setting this upper limits, and you never really achieve your fullest potential. And that is when we die with the massive amount of regret versus peace in our heart. So I want to die with peace. I want to die with confidence. I want to die with accomplishments. I want to die with knowing that I left two amazing kids behind who are going to do more for this world than I ever did. And I know you probably feel the same way. And so am I worried about death? Well, I certainly don't want to die now. I don't want to die at 51. I would love another 50 years, right? But God forbid, if I were to die today, I feel confident that I would die with peace in my heart, knowing that I've done everything I can up to this point to develop, to grow, to help, to serve, to establish organizations and businesses that'll continue to give people a higher quality of life far beyond after I'm gone. And so that's what I want for you as well. Understand that we're not guaranteed 80, 90, 100 years. You know, we all know someone that's died way too early. We don't want to be that person. And if God has given you those 16 ounces of potentiality in your life, make sure you do everything in your power that you can to empty that cup and leave it empty by the time you're gone, so that you've served the world with it. You've done a lot of good with it. You've made great money with it. You've impacted lives. You've changed and transformed yourself. You've left your footprint on this planet. Guys, I hope this message sat well with you. I know 74% of you watching this on YouTube are not subscribed to my channel or to the Bedros Keuilian Show, which I release every Tuesday. Please do me a favor. If you got value from this, like or comment. Better yet, subscribe. It would mean the world to me. It would mean the world to me. Cost you nothing. And also, here comes the Trulian ad, because y'all told me that, hey, leave the ads for last. So I'm going to leave the ad for last because I respect you guys. I love you guys. And I want to see you guys win. If you love Trulian, if you love great health, mental clarity, and want to have more energy, try the Trulian Wellness Shot. Here comes the ad. Enjoy it. Peace. Guys, quick interruption to the Bedros Keuilian Show. If you want better health, more energy, you want to fight off inflammation, and you want to boost your immune system, then you are probably taking a lot of supplements like I used to. I say used to because I stopped taking all these different supplements, and you can now throw away your vitamin C, throw away your zinc, throw away your vitamin D3, your B12, your ginger, your turmeric, your echinacea, and your astragalus. Why? Because all of it now is available in the Trulian Everyday Wellness packets. So instead of spending $200 to $300 a month on supplements like that, for a fraction of that, you're going to get the Trulian Wellness Shot delivered right to your door for free shipping. And you're going to use the code BEDROS when you go to Trulian.com to get 50% off, and $1 of every single order goes to Shriners Children's Hospital. So go to Trulian.com, use code BEDROS, and order your 30-day supply of the Trulian Everyday Wellness Shot.